on-the-job training, so he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
Here's Jacobs on 1st and 10. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. They're going to look to throw. Dancing to his left. And he's got it. Touchdown, Panthers. Mecole Hardman, his 9th touchdown of the season. And the Panthers on just 2 plays have taken the lead. Gonzalez able to tack on the PAT. And that makes the score 7-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Gonzalez on to kick it away. From a yard or 2 deep, here comes a return. And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30, up to the 33. At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. And following the interception, we'll see what they can put together on this drive.
I can hear my old college coach right now. He always used to tell us before every game, the team making the fewest mistakes will win. What they're hoping is that that last mistake is their only one of the game.
Coaches, that's all they talk about, turnovers, right?
Minimizing those and maximizing opportunities.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. From the gun, it's a give to Montgomery. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Now they're staring at a 3rd and 8. That last play backwards a yard. After 7-0 on EA Sports. Throwing on 3rd down, Fields. Throw left side complete. That's Cohen. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. First down, here's the run with Montgomery. And he gets it inside the 35 and just shy of the 30.
That was good, tough running right up the middle. And if the defense can't penetrate and make him slow his pace or change direction, that's often the end result.
Now a run with Montgomery. And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play there. 2nd down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
Eluding the pressure right. Throwing right, and that's complete. And they move this all the way down to the 9.
That's a big league job there, getting out of the pocket, not panicking, and just buying himself some time. Then he made a good, accurate throw to set up 1st and goal.
Movement there on the offensive line, a little quick, and a 5-yard penalty. That's going to set them back 5 yards. And they'll try again here, 1st and goal after the false start.
We got 3, fellas, we got 3.
Here's Fields. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Dante Jackson picks it. And the Panthers are going to take possession here. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 20-yard line. Second straight drive now here, Charles, that have ended with an interception.
And I just wonder, because I don't think it's going to rattle him necessarily, but I also wonder if it's going to nerve him a little bit. Does it lead to another one? Or does he find a way to pull it together and become sharp again?
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Flushed out right. And he's left with no option here but to throw it away. Well, you know, this club, there were some reports earlier in the week, and most have heard this by now, the so-called unnamed sources that were saying all is not rosy in that locker room. There's whispers that one or two guys, CD, have kind of had enough of how things are going and have been going. How would you handle that as a coach?
Well, you and I both know all the coaches that we've dealt with and come in contact with. They'd love to get their hands on those unnamed sources, wouldn't they? But they know that that's not possible, so I think they've got to go in there and make sure that this isn't a distraction. They also know that once the grumbling starts, it becomes a slippery slope, and it's hard to...
They've got his man complete! Touchdown, Carolina! Well, we saw this plenty last year in college. He loved to take his shots downfield, and that throw, that was a thing to behold there.
And as that ball was hanging in the air with the receiver streaking downfield to meet it, here in the stadium, you could just sense the crowd thinking, oh, no. And their worst fears were realized as that one turned into a long touchdown.
Gonzalez good on the extra point, and it's now 14-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Gonzalez on to kick it away. On the return, it's Tariq Cohen. And he returns this to the 22. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. And 2 interceptions thrown here in this first half. You hear it, no matter the sport, they say the great athletes, they can kind of have a short-term memory, but that's easier said than done.
It is easier said than done, but I played with a guy who threw 2 interceptions in the first quarter of a really big game we were playing.
Johnny Unitas?
And no, not quite of that level and not of that age. But I remember
I was going for the age.
I remember looking over at him, and he was smiling. And I thought, what is he smiling about? It's because he had enough confidence in himself that that was a fluke. And he went out and played pretty well the rest of the day.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Out of the gun, Fields. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
So many times when we talk about coverage, we're just about a defender running with a receiver, but a big part of it is understanding where the football is, finding it. In this case, when it arrived, it wasn't a surprise, and he was able to bat it away.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Fields now to throw. And it's going to be incomplete. He was able to catch it there on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. And it's going to bring up 4th down. Here's Thomas Morstead on now to punt it away on 4th down. Oh, it's a wobbler here. Only 29 yards on the punt there. Definitely not his best. And the Panthers will take over now, 1st and 10. The Panthers out there and ready to begin their next drive. And they had to go a long way on their last drive to score the touchdown. This time they get at least a little bit more of a cushion with field position.
I have to think that with this field position, after what they did on the last drive, they might want to take a shot right now and try and cut down the length of the drive.
On the run, he'll let this go deep right side. And now this is intercepted. My goodness. Picked up by Jalen Johnson. And the Bears are going to take possession here as they've got it at their own 4-yard line. A young quarterback, Charles, rolling to his right. I know he's right-handed, but is that one that maybe a veteran sticks in his pocket?
I think so, but you have to remember with young quarterbacks, it may take a few years before they get all the stuff out of them that they did earlier in their career or even in their college days when they were used to being dominant. In this case, The NFL veteran defense ended up winning the battle.
And he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down.
Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, he often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for second down, staying ahead of schedule.
Exactly what they needed right there, because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off, because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. 2 minutes to play, first half. It's 14-0. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Calling no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. Play action. It's Fields. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Dante Jackson picks it. And it's a huge return as he brings this all the way back down to the 15-yard line. Boy, so another interception, CD, and it feels like he's starting to unravel a little bit.
And as you would expect, still a work in progress here in his second season. He has to start ironing out some of these mistakes, though, because now his head coach, his offensive coaches, they have to evaluate whether you keep playing him and let him work through it, or you start thinking about going to his backup.
On first down, Jacobs. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
The passing game's been working quite well so far, but the running game's been a little bit of a struggle, and that's a surprise to me. Typically, when you can throw it, you've opened up lanes for your runners.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. They'll set up to throw. Escaping the pressure right. This will be caught at about the 6. And the Panthers are looking at 1st and goal as he's tackled all the way down at the 2-yard line. Well, there's your leading receiver in the NFL in terms of yardage, putting on another clinic, well over 100 yards.
Are we taking notes? We should be, right?
And he is in. Touchdown, Carolina. Josh Jacobs, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the Panthers, they widen their lead. Gonzalez able to tack on the PAT, and it's now 21-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Gonzalez on to kick it away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. And with a little under a minute remaining, they may try to put something together here just to try to cut into that deficit. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by J.C. Horn. And the return here will go to the 31-yard line. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Now back to throw. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
But defensively, you're over there trying to catch your breath and try not to show the offense that you're a little bit fatigued. You're right back out there after the turnover. Now they've got to work towards getting another couple of stops and forcing them into at least a long field goal situation.
He'll find his man, Terrace Marshall, complete. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18. Now here's a look for the end zone, but that one's going to wind up incomplete.
When you look at the scoreboard, you'd think they'd be pretty comfortable right now with this lead, but these guys are absolutely not going to let up. They want to increase their lead, and they want to do it with a big play, unable to connect in that attempt.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Again, he'll drop to throw. That is caught. It's Anderson. Touchdown, Panthers. Robbie Anderson. As the first half is winding down. And the Panthers would extend their lead here just before halftime. Gonzalez good on the extra point, and a rout is on here in this first half.
Zane Gonzalez set to kick off.
So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. And with 8 seconds on the clock, really not a lot of time to try to put anything together. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. So we come upon halftime intermission here with the visiting Panthers taking the lead to the locker room. As we send you down to Orlando where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach. All right, Coach, thank you very much as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. The Bears going to see the football first, and they trail here as we get back underway to start this second half. And this will be returned from deep in the end zone. At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. And they have a mountainous deficit looming in front of them. It was really, Charles, a disaster of a first half. So where do they go from here?
Well, first thing they have to remember is that what's done is done, and there's no going back. And now you have to play this drive by drive. Obviously, come back in this spot, pretty unlikely. But you still have to go out, take pride in your work, and try and put something together here in the second half.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Here's Fields. Looking left side, and it's complete. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. A give. This is Montgomery. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up.
Well, they certainly have been able to get him going and establish the run, so I think it's time to abandon that plan and start chucking it all over the park. And you know who's excited about that? The defensive front. They got a chance to pin their ears back and get after him now.
Meanwhile, Fields' throw there, complete to Mooney.
A gain of 9 yards. That's good for a Bears first down. 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line.
Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. Now a shotgun handoff to Cohen. And he's corralled at the 40, but not before picking up 8.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Off play action, Fields. And he's got his big wide receiver complete. And they're going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Panthers' 30. I don't know what they talked about at halftime. Whatever it was, it worked. They look like a different team here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I doubt that there are very many trash cans that got kicked over, that type of a speech. I think what they did was they analyzed what worked in the first half, what didn't, and figured out a better game plan.
Now a man open down the middle of the field and taking it to the 15-yard line before he's brought down.
Well, maybe this offense has learned something from watching their counterparts work. I'm wondering if their coaching staff said, let's do what they've been doing the entire game, because that's worked well. This offense, they have not looked particularly good all game long, but a nice throw there for a good gain and a first down.
Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11. Back to throw, Fields. And it'll be intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And the Panthers are going to get the football here as the ball will come out to the 20. So it was a drive that had real promise here to begin the third quarter, but ultimately derailed by the INT.
And that was the position you wanted to be in, coming out to start this third quarter, get a nice drive going, looking for the end zone. Possibly got a little bit too greedy right there.
And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Jacobs now. And unable to get downhill there as he'll take this up to about the 37. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
And he's dropped right at the 40. Gain of 3. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
They'll look to throw here. Got a man, it's Tunyon. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or two shy of the 40.
Partner, I have to tell you, just one word keeps coming to mind from watching them this afternoon, and that's impressive. They have been impressive from the opening kickoff, and they haven't let up here even into the fourth quarter.
They'll run on first down. It's Jacobs, and he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Mario Edwards Jr. there to bring him down.
Brings up 2nd and 10 at the 41-yard line.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. They'll stay on the ground with Jacobs. A first down and more for Jacobs. And he takes this all the way down to the Bears' 12-yard line. 61 yards rushing on 12 carries for him now.
Outside handoff to the right side. If you're a running back, you love getting the ball early so you have vision to see what's happening in front of you.
Right tackle likes that call. Big play for him. But don't forget about the guys you always tell me on the backside sealing off.
When they talk about cutoff blocks, making sure no one can leak from the backside that can run a play down.
And nobody leaked. Big play.
He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the fourth quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
So it's Panther football as we welcome you back. They've got a 2nd down now as they look to salt this one away.
Let's go, D.
Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Eddie Jackson picks it. And the Bears are going to take over here on the INT at their own 5-yard line. Certainly not what he was hoping for, Charles. That's now 3 interceptions in this ball game.
But there's a lot of knowledge to be gleaned every time you throw an interception if you do things the right way. And hasn't there been a pretty darn good quarterback along the way who threw a lot of interceptions early, learned from them, and became great later?
Who would that be?
That'd be one Peyton Manning. Threw 28 his rookie year. That's the NFL record. How'd things turn out for him?
I think okay. He's a guy in all the commercials now, right?
Yeah, I think he's doing okay.
First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's 2nd and 12. Now Fields. The screen pass here to Cohen. And he'll be taken down for a loss back at the 3. This will wind up a loss on the play. And they'll be facing a 3rd and 12. Fields. He's going to let it fly. And now here is another interception. Picked off by J.C. Horn. And they're going to be set up in the red zone right around the 17-yard line. Well, they were obviously backed up, had a little bit of space from the goal line, snapping it from the 3, but still trying to throw it. And
yeah, exactly. This is where hindsight is 20/20 comes into play, right? Seems like a good idea to throw the ball there. Maybe you'll surprise them and catch them off guard. Instead, you've created a turnover and put your defense in a bad spot.
Now a throw to the end zone on 1st down, but it winds up incomplete. The incompletion there stops the clock. Any surprise they're throwing here late?
Ordinarily, yes, because you would think enough is enough. They've got plenty of lead, but I've seen this a bunch of times as well. The defense is going to crowd the line of scrimmage. If you just hand it off inside, you're getting your running back popped a lot as well. Sometimes the defense dictates it. If they're going to crowd it, you may have no other choice but to throw it downfield.
Now it looks like he'll throw here. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Jalen Johnson. And the Bears are going to take possession here. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 20-yard line. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. And they unfortunately are staring at a mini losing streak developing, trailing here in the 4th quarter. This would be their 3rd straight defeat. Big Derek Brown making the stop. So this one is over. A victory for Carolina. And this was truly a total team effort, Charles, on both sides of the ball.
Well, they absolutely pinched a shutout, so it can't get much better than that, right? The defense led the way, but the offense did their part as well. They moved the ball up and down the field. So you've got to like what you saw. What do they call that? A total team effort? I think when it's time to hand out game balls, guys from both sides